get as flat. It's like if we're on a ball, if we're on a globe, you can't get as flat as 8 inches per mile squared. There's no way. So everyone's wearing curved shoes right now.
Yeah, that's another good one.
Tell us another one about Project Mayhem. Beasticles is like, I've never seen Fight Club. All right, forget it.
No, I'm trying to remember one of the actual homework assignments.
Well, isn't Project Mayhem only discussed at the very end of the movie?
No, it's actually never discussed.
As the first rule is.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No, I
even
thought
before the rule before roll rules.
Come on.
I've never seen the movie, so I don't know.
You're fired.
By the way, Reds, you have a different microphone right now, right?
It's
You're on your phone.
It's a phone, yeah.
Okay, you sound like
audio
a
sounds
young.
fine to me.
You sound like a young, invigorated John or McToon. Like you guys have the same cadence, dude. It's weird.
I sound like a toucan with a kazoo stuck in his throat. Don't try to humor me.
He compared you to McToon, dude. That's not. It's not a good thing.
You've never seen Fight Club, Reds?
No, I've never seen it. I've never seen a lot of movies, to be honest with you. But
dude, you got to watch Fight Club. That's you gotta. It's a classic.
Yeah,
it's on my list of things. It's on my list of things to watch.
Yeah, it came out in 2000. I mean,
yeah, I've also never seen The Godfather.
I haven't either. So
heresy.
I do have to see the Godfather, the rest of the boys. Let's see. I also need to actually watch Game of Thrones. I heard that's pretty good. Never saw it really.
That's overhyped, dude. I don't care what anyone says.
I've never seen Troy. Brad Pitt's supposed to be in it.
Dude, what? Achilles!
Yeah, Brad Pitt, I think, is one of the best actors in regards to the films he's been.
Is he the best looking one?
Well, he's your doppelganger
fag.
as well. He's a doppelganger to you, Andrew, going by your picture.
All right. Cool. Whatever.
I did see 300. That was pretty good.
He's my doppelganger too.
Yeah, Troy is similar to 300. It doesn't have that. What's the term that they use for when they put
blood and guts and stuff?
No. It's like the overmasking of like the gray, the brown. What do they call that?
Hey, what are you talking about, Andrew?
In 300,
they don't have the
not
same
natural color.
It's not the same at all.
Well, they changed the hue.
Yeah, didn't they make everything look more gold?
Yes.
The cadence is
color temperature.
I guess it works when you are trying to give off the impression of grunginess. You know,
sprayed
everything
on abs.
Dude, those sprayed on abs looked really good, I have to say, yes. I also saw Meet the Spartans. That was pretty good. Hilarious. 10 out of 10.
What the fuck is that?
Meet the Spartans. What's up?
Meet the Spartans is a comedy parody of 300, and it's awesome.
Say my name, Thor. What's up?
I was just saying, dude, you have great ears, man. That cadence is insane, dude.
Dude, isn't it? It's, I swear. You know what it is? They come from the same milieu. That's what it is. You hang around each other long enough, you start sounding alike.
Sounding what? Sounding what alike?
You guys sound literally exactly
like this guy. Yeah. Sound just like PhD John.
There may be something to that because you guys all sound alike too.
I know that was the joke. I get confused with Galley and Tora all the time, and vice versa. And
Oh,
then
white people look the same. It's fine.
Well, a
Yeah.
very
And Reds,
similar avatar.
yeah,
So
and then
Meet the
Reds
Spartans
sounds
has a
just like.
2.8 out of 10.
Oh
Come
my
on,
god,
Red.
dude!
What is?
And Reds sounds just like McToon and John. They all sound like the cadence.
Nah,
The,
Red's always kind of sound like. I think Red sounds even more calm than he used to sound. Maybe less coffee, or it's been
No,
a
I
decade.
just woke up.
Oh, he just woke up. Okay, so maybe that's what it is.
Yeah, give me a moment to get my signature mixed drink, and I'll be ready to rock.
you sound just like McToon, bro. It's great.
He sounds like I could
Talking
see
about a
John, but
cocktail,
not
hold the
Tune.
tail.
No, it's
Looking
a
for a
mix.
cocktail, just hold the tail.
The John and
It's a.
Tune
I'll tell you
connection is
exactly
very
what it
strong.
is. It's a mix of Red Bull, Mountain Dew, and 5-Hour Energy. Now with 50% less organ damage,
Nice, yeah, cocktail, hold the tail, right?
or as the experts call it, major organ damage.
Water.
I stay away from those energy drinks, man.
Now you
Just
got to mix
pure.
the Red Bull, the Mountain Dew, and the 5-Hour Energy. Give it a shake. Good
Are
stuff.
Are you going to add Skittles like to kind of help mix it up?
You know, I never thought of that,
Jolly
but now that you
Ranchers.
mentioned it, I might actually add the Skittles now.
Jolly Ranchers, dude. Some ice.
Ooh, that's a better idea. Jolly Ranchers.
Jolly Ranchers like never dissolve.
This is some
I don't know.
So Red
Yeah,
Bull,
good
Mountain Dew,
rhetoric.
5-Hour Energy, and Jolly Ranchers. That'll be the mix right there.
I hate to throw a wrench into the combo, but wouldn't that make you a science denier if you drink that?
No, that would make me wired as fuck. That's what that would make me.
It's rocket fuel for the soul.
Science proof that
I
that's
would be
bad for you.
bouncing off the goddamn walls. I
It's bad
would
for you
be able to stay awake
in
for
that regard.
days.
Turbo boosters of the mind.
How many ounces of this drink
How do you know
you
the walls
consume?
have been banned?
Like an entire Red Bull? What do you do?
Yeah, I would say the entire can.
What do you do with the can? The entire can?
Crush it on his forehead.
Well, that's after you drink it. So
Hey, by the way, in terms of substance, Alan has been working diligently with Claude to make his conceptual model mobile. So I'm going to post the link. And if you have a phone, you can actually mess around with it now.
yeah, cool.
It is
All
pretty
the years
awesome.
asking for a model.
I
That's
know,
what they
dude.
say.
Oh, yeah, cool. Good stuff, guys.
Is
It's
it
cool,
just a
though.
is it just a repackaged version of
No.
what they already had?
Nope.
So
You
what
know
makes
why?
Hey,
it?
Reds, would you say you have any biases?
Yeah, of course he has biases. Yeah.
Of course, we all
If
do.
that is the case, how does evolution explain that?
How does evolution explain bias? I don't know. I'm not an evolutionary biologist.
Well, bias
You know,
tends to mean that you value something. So there's like value intrinsically within the system, apparently. So where'd that value come from? What chemical is it made out of?
You measure value in chemicals. That's how you do it.
real quick,
Yeah, if
Tora.
you're a materialist. Yeah.
The
Again,
difference between
I'm not an
Bislin.
I'm not an evolutionary biologist, but what I do know is that you can modify somebody's behavior by injecting them with some shit. So, for
Okay.
example, I can make you really, really happy if you get one hell of a dopamine hit.
Not necessarily.
So I imagine that if your brain was involved to produce more of this happy chemical, that you would be happier than the average bear.
What's that have to
Maybe.
do with biases?
I'm just saying that chemicals can alter the way your brain works.
It's a
So
non sequitur.
no, it isn't.
How does it follow from the argument?
You asked me what chemical is bias made out of. Was that not your question?
I said, how does evolution explain intrinsic value within the system that you can't find in other material?
Now you're changing the question. Let's try this again. You asked me the question of what chemical is bias made out of. Was that not your question?
Yeah, based off of
Okay,
the
cool.
first question that I asked you.
That's good.
That,
So
sir.
now
But yeah, the first question
we
I
can
asked you
move
is if
forward
there is
to how it
value
was in the
built in
non.
intrinsically
And
within the
he knows
system,
he
and
just lost the
value is
argument.
not made out of material, then what
So he
material
just lost
are
the
these?
argument just like that. The very moment you interrupt me is the very moment you know you lost the argument. Well, that
So
was
you
fun.
interrupted me, so therefore you lost the argument, huh?
Reds,
Cool.
you actually interrupted him. Why are you doing that?
I was wondering why I was interrupted.
No, he was in the middle of speaking.
That opinion?
Actually, no, he was in the middle of speaking, and then Red said, "You're changing the argument," and he was trying to finish what he was saying, which was, "This question is based off the previous question. It's not my bias."
I thought he asked a question and Red's answered him.
Hey, it's all good. Red's rhetoric said if you interrupt someone, you lose the argument. He interrupted me, therefore he lost the argument.
Cool.
This is all just like tactic stuff. Both of what you guys are doing is tactic stuff.
If he wants to have a legitimate conversation and not lose the next one, I'm here when he's ready.
Well, you're the one who interrupted, so according to you, you're the one who lost, right?
Cool. I'm sure that'll help you sleep at night. Tell me what dreams you get.
I know you are, but what am I?
Exactly. See, someone's able to figure it out.
All right, so if anyone wants to have the adult conversation that Toro was trying to have, where he asked, how does that account for bias? How does evolution account for bias? You guys can have that conversation if you want.
No, I would rather go back to the previous conversation that we were having.
Yeah, let's talk about Minecraft.
Exactly. Much better. So I was able to find the Minecraft wiki, and
Oh my god, dude! What? I wanted
He's
to talk
running.
to you about.
He's running.
I wanted to talk to some Glober about Alan's model, and the biggest difference between the Bislin projection and Alan's is that he made all the distances unitless, and that the FE radius is 1, and it works. So it basically shows that all the numbers that you guys have for the heliocentric model are just ratios. You can put whatever number you want.
Yeah, but then you have to say the ratio. Then you have to say Australia is twice as wide as the United States, or wider than the United States.
No, see, that's just rhetoric right there. That's a rhetorical device, but it's a bad one.
It's not. It's true.
Yep. So until you can square that circle, I'm not really all that interested.
Too bad you guys haven't looked at his model, because you're developing an argument based off the projection you think he used.
Nope. I've looked at his model. I've pointed out many flaws to Shane, and he's responded 0 times. So it's not worth
Like
time.
what? Let's hear one of them.
So you don't even know the model he's talking about, because it's not Shane's. This is the one that Alan's been working on.
Sure. I do know the one he's talking about. You can look in chat. You can look back in chat history. Look for times I've mentioned Shane in the past 2 weeks, and then he can come here and discuss it, or Alan if he wants to.
That doesn't mean you know what he was talking about, though, bro. All you Glovers say you know what they mean, and then we get into a debate with you, and then you obviously clearly don't know what was meant. So
Mainly because when you have the ability to move the goalpost like that, it's really hard to nail it down sometimes. So please forgive us.
Well, that's what he's talking about you guys doing, like Great Angelo the other night, where he would consistently say he's familiar with the topic, and then he would ask you to say what the topic is, and then he would aggressively Google what it was, and then just pretend familiarity the whole time, as if he was familiar the whole time. It was weird.
All right, you sound like you're inside of a tin can's asshole for some reason. You might be covering your mic.
That doesn't matter, though. The premise is that you guys make crap up all the time, and then we call you on it, and then you move the goalpost or you run with it.
This is sad rhetorical. Dude, I thought this guy's name was Rhetoric. I thought he was gonna have actual like good persuasive speech, but instead he just has ad hominem. It's weird.
Yeah, just tactics so far. Anyway, what the issue was that Cuddles pointed out was that people pretend to be familiar with a thing, even though they don't even know what the thing is. And then once they're pointed out, like Great Angelo, and presumably what's happening right now, they just say, "Oh, that thing? Yeah, that thing. I've been working on that thing for 40 years. Hasn't been out for 2 weeks. Oh yeah, two whole weeks is how long I've been an expert on it, and it's really annoying, actually. Do you guys know what they're talking about or not?
Yeah, I
I
100% know what he's talking about.
Okay,
and I
when was it
tend to
developed?
And if you look
tell
in
people that
chat
I don't
history,
care
like I
about it.
said, and look for times I've mentioned Shane, you'll see I took screenshots from the model, posted it with comments over the top of it.
Yeah, when?
Like a week ago or less.
Hey, you might be the only Glober I ever have to apologize to.
Excellent. I think
So
Pinky's consistent. Reds and Great Angelo. I don't know.
Dude, Great Angelo said the funniest thing ever. He said, "You can't possibly know what the galaxy is doing. You can't assume it's there's an electric universe based off of what you can do here on Earth."
now we're talking about electric universes. Wow, jumping
Banger.
around all over the fucking place.
Dude, it was so funny. He just literally made the entire argument that we've been making for years. He was like, "You can't actually know what's going on out there based off of what you can do here on Earth."
Let me just
In
ask
order,
the obvious question. Can I use this new and improved model that's been improved for the 75th fucking time? Can I use it to make accurate and reliable predictions? If so, what predictions can
yes,
I make with it?
literally
And
anything to
see,
do
there
with the
he goes
heavenly thought.
admitting and not knowing what he's talking about.
So if
Banger.
I ask you to back this thing up in some way, you don't actually answer the question, you just go straight to attacking me. How about you actually
Literally
answer the
anything.
question? Show
Yeah, literally
confidence in
all.
your position.
You
I'll
started.
answer it.
So okay, so if it can make accurate predictions about anything, can it make a prediction about the pole star conundrum? And if so, what prediction does it make?
About the what?
The pole star conundrum. You know what that is?
No, I don't. And it's
And you're
very hyper
supposed to be the
specific.
fucking expert here that's lecturing my ass? Okay, that's cool. So let's
I
try
like how
it.
you pull out. I like how you pull
The
out
pole
something
star
that's totally
conundrum.
hyper
The
specific instead of
pole star
actually looking at the
conundrum is
model.
as follows.
Let's
If I'm
not say
looking due
pull out.
north, I'm going to see the north celestial pole. If I am going south of the equator and I look due south, I'm going to see the south celestial pole. But I'm not really going to see both of them at the exact same time if I'm on either side of the equator. So how does your model actually explain that away?
Oh, so you're talking about seeing south from different positions on Earth, right?
No. Being south from south of the equator, I'm going to see only one celestial pole, and that's the south one. If I'm north of the equator and I look due north, I would see again the only celestial pole that I would see. However, on a
That's
flat
false.
Earth, that would not be the prediction. So how does Shane correct for that?
You could go to Key West, Florida, and see them both in the sky at the same time.
You wanna bet?
I highly
You
doubt
could
that.
see the Southern Cross and the Polaris, and you could see the Southern Cross rotating
I
as
Yeah, you
highly
well
do.
doubt you
around
can
the
see the
center
southern
point, and
Okay.
that's on your
southern
globe
cross.
model. That's necessary.
Yeah, here's
I
the thing, you
highly
guys.
doubt if you go
You
to
have
Key West, you would see the southern celestial pole.
all right.
You
You
Check
might
it
could
out.
see
see, you
the
might see,
Southern Cross, is what
Here,
you
I
might
said.
see half of it.
here's what. Hold on. Here's what you guys can do. You guys can literally go into the model right now, okay? And there's an
Yep,
option. It
I'll
looks
do
like an
that.
eyeball. It looks like an eyeball, okay? And that puts you in the observer-centric point of view, right? As if you were on the ground. Then you can switch between all three models that are depicted there: flat Earth, dual pole, and globe. And guess what? They're all equivalent because it's all based off of kinematics. Thank you.
No, there's
Well,
no way,
sort of.
Jim.
You guys have to have light bending for yours to work, though.
Yeah, so do you.
Not as much
Not
as
No, we
you.
don't.
But
Not much.
Not as much now, but yes, you have the same
No,
problem.
so
Yeah, you
yeah,
guys
we're
have to have
talking.
light bend 180 degrees.
Yeah,
Hold on, in the
there's
dark.
about a difference of 0.01
So you believe the AE
degrees
map is
and
correct?
like literally 90 fucking degrees. There's a big difference there, my guy.
You believe that an AE map is correct?
I'm model agnostic, brother.
Oh, but you posted this one that has an AE map, so you believe the AE map is correct?
Yeah, maybe if you actually listened, it has all three models depicted there.
Well, which
So
one's
which
the most correct?
So which one do you believe is the closest to reality?
It's like these guys don't even listen. How I just said they're all equivalent.
They're spiraling, man.
No,
They
they're
just
not
want to
actually.
trigger you and ask dumb questions and not pay attention to what you're saying. So that way
Yeah, because
they don't have to
you
address
know
the
when
actual information.
so
Yep.
you
It's a
want
tactic to
the
not answer the
privilege of
question.
moving the goalpost to whatever model best suits the
That's
current
what you
narrative.
guys are doing, yes.
No.
Dude.
Nice try though. I know you are, but what am I? Nice try.
No, I
No,
literally
that's
said.
what you
This is how
literally
weak
did.
this
I
is.
pointed out something and you said, I know you are, what am I to me?
And here I was expecting a challenge. Disappointing.
Yeah, all right,
Okay,
well, you
so
can look
instead of
into the
talking like
thing
a
he's
person,
proposing if you
Shane do a
like
better
or
job than
not,
any of you
but
guys?
if you're just
Can
going to troll, that's not
Shane do a better
addressing
job
the
than
point
any
on
of
the
See how
you
they
table.
get
guys
angry when
and
we
come onto my
talk?
channel and explain it
Angry.
to us? Because if he can do a better job than you guys, I would love to invite him on.
See, just
Because
look how you nonstop interrupt and not listen to what people are saying.
correct.
when you interrupted me, yeah, that's funny.
I was in the middle of
Dude.
speaking. I interrupted you by keeping
Oh,
speaking while I was in the middle of
nice.
speaking.
Oh, acknowledgements. That was great. Excellent.
I
Yes, but
interrupted you
you
by
interrupted
finishing the
him,
thing I was saying.
and you called it interrupting you while he was talking.
Oh,
Yes,
no,
you interrupted him, and now you're blaming
that
him for
was
what you did.
excellent,
Yes,
my
we
guy.
all just heard that stupid ha 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 ha. Yeah, you're
That was
right.
excellent.
Where
This is
you just
10 out of
admitted to
10
interrupting
material.
him.
Yeah,
It's
it's just kind of
fantastic.
crazy how you can
Random,
interrupt
just
someone by
random
finishing the
dumbness.
thing that you were saying
Random
beforehand.
dumbness.
Yeah, so can Shane do a better job explaining this shit than you guys can? If so, he's
For the
invited.
6th time, this isn't Shane.
You just
Yeah,
interrupted him,
which
dude.
is why
You
I'm
just
saying,
interrupted
can
him.
Shane do a better
He
job
finished
than
his
you?
question. Can Shane do a better job explaining this than you guys? And for the 8th time, Shane didn't make it. He keeps saying Shane. He doesn't even know what he's talking about.
Did I say
So
Shane
which
made
space
it, or did I ask that if Shane can explain it better, dipshit?
Yes,
You've said
originally you
Shane
said
made it
Shade made
several
me.
times before that.
I said, can Shane explain it better? Can he, or
Why
can he
would
not?
Shane explain it better if someone else made it?
Well, he's
Because
the
you
only one that
can't.
posted it. Hold on,
Isn't
he's the
that
one that's
Shane?
posted it in EA.
Isn't Space
Alan
Odyssey
Yeah,
hasn't
you're
Shane
saying
posted
and
that's
it in
Alan?
EA.
posting it. I'm
They're
assuming that he's the
spiraling.
one that
Space
has
Audits
the
is
ability to make it.
Alan. Shane is different than Space
They're both
Audits.
the same.
Space Audits is Alan. You
They're
guys are
Hasn't
buddies.
Alan been the
spiraling.
one that
Shane
posted it
explain
here?
it better.
Aren't they buddies?
If
Aren't they
the answer
Flyers
is
buddies?
So Earth is
yeah,
life is
that's a
spiraling,
fucking yes.
Leftlane, Pinky, and Reds. You're all spiraling.
So the
Aren't
answer
they
is
buddies though?
no. So Shane cannot explain it better. So
No,
that
probably
would
not.
be a no to that question, right?
No, that would be a he's not here to speak for himself,
Yeah.
so shut your whiny woman voice crap up. Stop it all, man.
Are you going to be triggered about that now? Since I asked
Jesus.
this a
Look,
simple
look, look.
question.
I'm the
please,
audience. Hey. I'm
please,
the audience. I'm not a flat earther. I'm not anything. I'm just
please.
listening to this and I'm getting a migraine. Stop it, bro.
Yeah, I gotta go to work, but I tried explaining it to you. I've already explained it that they're all
Yeah, you failed
equivalent.
miserably.
No, you just don't want to listen to the answer.
Well, how
Yeah,
about
it's
this?
because
How
he's
about
a
we
troll. He just has to use
explain it and
tactics to shut down the conversation. He's just a
No,
troll.
we just want you guys to explain this in a better way instead of
Yeah.
trying to somehow justify the AE map when you guys clearly say you don't agree with the AE map, but yet you're trying to justify it still.
That's not what the topic is about.
Yeah,
What's
no
the
one's
topic?
talking about specifically just the AE map for the
The topic
third
is
fucking
whatever they want
time.
it to be.
No, dude,
I'm looking
listen.
at the AE
It's a
map.
conceptual model. Yeah, you can change the model. You can go to globe Earth, flat
Yeah,
Earth, or do
Okay,
a
there's a
poll.
difference between the
which
Are
models.
one
you gonna
works
listen?
better?
Are you gonna
No, they're just
listen to
trying to
what I'm
troll you,
explaining?
brother.
Yeah, you guys
Both
don't
of them
want
are
to
just
hear the
trolls.
answer.
Earth is life and Reds are just trolls.
Which one explains the stars better?
It's off topic.
They're all equivalent for the
No, they're
fourth
not.
time now.
No, they aren't.
Not in the AE map.
Not even.
Oh my god, dude!
I'm looking at the AE map, and when they get to the water, they just disappear. Where do they go after that?
Did you have no idea what the topic is? You have no idea what he's talking about.
A model that accurately represents reality. That's the fucking topic, my guy.
The model that he's referring to depicts all three, the AE, the globe, and the dual pole. If you guys knew what he was talking about, you wouldn't say such stupid shit.
Yeah, but here's the thing. If we were to depict all three of them accurately,
There's
what
no
would we
but.
get?
The problem is you're saying stupid shit. Stop that, and then we
Keep
can have a
interrupting. You
conversation.
guys, it's like as soon as this topic came up, you guys haven't stopped interrupting. You can't let
No,
the
it's that
Glovers get a word in.
you present these three
Pinky,
models like,
because
oh, if
what
I
I
add
had
this
said
correction
refutes
factor,
everything that he's
if I
saying,
add
and
this
then he
correction
goes,
factor
yeah,
here
but
and I make light bend 90 fucking degrees, yeah, maybe I can brute force it to make it work.
you're off topic. You're
Congratulations.
talking about a different thing.
And I'm supposed to be impressed by this?
chat.
Like I'm supposed to be impressed by whatever Alan or Shane
This
or
is a
whoever came
chat.
up with?
This is a chat. This is just a chat.
Dude.
You choose to be impressed or not, but you're
All
choosing
right,
to
Yeah.
be
it's
whiny. So
unlistenable.
stop
Every
that.
single thing gets interrupted.
I mean,
Listen,
you
guys,
can't
guys.
Have a good
about
one,
that.
guys.
It says conceptual model, okay? Concept, right? You guys say, where's your model? Where's your map? Where's your model? Where's your map? Here's a conceptual model. Please look at it. Thank you.
Does the concept actually comport with reality?
Do you look with your mouth or your eyes? I'm curious.
That's
Brother,
a great
for the
question,
third
Rhetoric.
or fifth or 30th time, this model depicts globe, AE, and dual pole. So when you say, does the model depict what's actually happening in reality, you'd be undermining whether or not the globe model depicts what's actually happening in reality. So that's why it's a dumb question, because your question would undermine what you think is actually happening in reality.
The word is comports, my guy, comports.
That's non sequitur to my point.
No, it's not. Comports means if your model, in order to make the flat earth version work, and if you need to bend literally how light works in order to make it, well, work.
Okay, that's
you're
non
gonna need to
sequitur because
specify
if the
that.
model I'm proposing contains the model that you're talking about, it contains all three models, it's non sequitur to say it's just the flat earth model.
And I can
Completely
make the
non
Pac-Man
sequitur.
sun work in a
Does it
particular model.
contain
That
the
doesn't mean
globe
it
model or
operates in that
not?
way.
Does
It's
it
the
contain the
awake
globe model or
model.
not?
So do you have it or not?
You're done. You're done. So yeah, the crazy part about that is when you say does it comport to reality? Well, there's two realities that you guys refer to. You refer to your local reality, then you guys refer to non-local, non-reality. Right? So in our local reality, we have a tool. Oh, are you losing the argument already by interrupting?
So that was a non sequitur already. You want to try that again?
It's
I'll give
The
you
model
an
that Beast brought up contains the globe, the AE, and the dual pole. But when you say, does that comport to actual reality, you would also be asking if the globe comports to actual reality, because if you were talking about the same topic that he's talking about, which is a model that contains all three, you'd be questioning if the globe comports to actual reality, if you're talking about what he's proposing. Otherwise, it's a non sequitur question.
You don't seem to understand the problem here. We have asked if the globe comports with reality. We already have our answer for that one. I'm asking about the flat Earth.
Is the model that is the topic that he's talking about, does that contain the globe in it? Yes or no, Reds?
It's a different model. Are you saying the flat Earth contains the globe?
The model that he's talking about, he isn't talking about the flat Earth model. The model that he's talking about, does it contain the globe or not, Reds?
Does the flat Earth contain the globe?
That's a troll question. It's a loaded question. The model, the topic that's on the table. This is why you don't come around here, because you're such a troll. So does the model that he's talking about contain the globe model or not?
Everybody just go back to their corners for a second.
He's just trying to troll to ruin any type of productive conversation.
It's all a tie-up and
so fucking easy. Can you guys give me like an actual challenge, please?
Can you stop talking through people that are talking to you? The audience is trying to listen. Reds.
Yeah, it just
You
seems like
interrupted him and kept monologuing through him. Please,
it just
for the
seems
love
like
of God,
what
stop it.
Peter brought up, what Beast brought up, was a model that contains both the globe, the dual pole, and the AE map, or the quote-unquote flat Earth model. To say, does the flat Earth model contain the globe model is non sequitur, has nothing to do with the topic on the table. The model that he's talking about contains all three of those different models. So if you had an issue with that, that's something. But if you said, oh, let me cherry pick one of the things and not include the other two, that makes no sense.
Yeah, it actually does make sense because you're saying that, oh, I can take 3 different models and make it into one model. That's
No.
bullshit.
Yes.
You
Yes.
know it.
Wait. Hold on. Yeah, you could take 3 different concepts, okay? Concepts of reality,
Models.
aka models, right? And I can
Models.
represent
Let's use the
them
word model.
all equivalently with the stars. That's the point. You can use unitless distances. The distances that are proposed in any of the models doesn't matter because they all use a fictitious observer to represent a certain position of the stars. Like, for example, when you can't see them anymore, how do you know that they're actually where they're at? Oh, I know. We'll use a fictitious observer at the center of a ball, or we'll use a fictitious observer at the it doesn't matter. You can put the fictitious observer anywhere because if you can't see the star, then how do you know it's actually there? It's all linked by time. It's all linked by time and angle. That's it, dude.
Are you done? Because that did not answer my question, like literally even a little bit.
The only questions you've asked were loaded questions that get us nowhere. That's the
Questions
problem.
that demand you be precise. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'll try not to do that in the future, my guy.
It's not a precise question if the claim is this model contains the globe, the dual pole, and the AE. Yeah, you have to chime in for
He's
me.
cracking up, dude. He's twisted up, bro. He's spiraling out, dude. It's hilarious. This
I'm
dude's
going to
bent
work.
over, down on his knees right now.
By all
Yeah,
means,
Reds,
go
I
back to
think the
talking
reason
about
why you
real
won't
Minecraft,
confront
bro.
is because you're afraid of it. It's weird.
Yeah, I was the one asking for Shane or Alan, someone who could do a better job than you guys can, and you all just lost your shit.
So go over to his channel, bro. He's not over here.
He can come over here. I'm not going to him.
No, he can't. He has his own channel.
I have already invited him on my channel to debate Astronomy Live like twice, and he got his ass kicked both times. I'm good.
So you're saying you're out here with like beer bottles on your fingers, warriors come out and play yay. Is that what you're saying? Okay. All right. I guess the challenge has been the gauntlet has been thrown down.
That's right. It's been thrown down. So do you accept pragmatism as a justification, Rhetoric?
Is this a new topic where we're no longer talking about models or Minecraft?
No, it's going to be the same. It's going to be on the same because I'm thinking you're using a model because of the pragmatic value of it.
So basically, is this a question where you're going to ask something along the lines of, just because it fucks like a globe, looks like a globe, behaves like a globe, how do you know it's actually a globe?
Nope, not at all. Nope, not at all. I was going to ask you if you have a pragmatic model, like you say it works because it works, is that a justification? So therefore you could say I have a justified true belief.
Are you saying pragmatism is a fucking fallacy now?
No, I'm not at all, sir. I'm asking you just to find out from you if you accept pragmatism as a justification. So you could go, I made this model, it's pragmatic, therefore it works. So I now have a justified true belief that the Earth is a sphere.
It works. It's useful for making accurate and reliable predictions.
Yeah, that's because it works. Yeah, it works. Yeah, that's pragmatism right there. Yeah. Okay, cool. So do you agree that the water level is a tool in reality that we use to set up local horizontal planes, and anyone that's building a house upon the Earth can use the Earth pragmatically as if plumbs are parallel when they're building that house?
Right,
I love this. This is a conversation about scale. No, I love this because what usually I'm going to predict where this is going to go before we go there. You are going to try to define flat Earth into existence. So let's have this. Let's have this conversation, my guy. So when we are building a house, we are operating an incredibly small portion of the Earth's surface. You would agree with that, right?
Awesome. Yeah, I do. So that way, therefore, now we have a pragmatic justification for treating me. Excuse me, sir. I'm going to respond to what you asked me to respond to what you said, dude. Oh, are you tripping out? What's, dude, is there something wrong with your mic or something? What's wrong? Are you all right, dude? Are you okay?
There's no moderator. What the hell?
Dude, are you okay, bro?
So
Do I need to call like the suicide helpline for you?
If we're
Yes, you
occupying
do.
Red, stop
if
doing
we're
that. It's
occupying
causing
an
audio
incredibly
chaos. Stop
small
talking through
amount
people.
of the
Just
Earth's
go one at
surface,
a time.
then that
If it's
means
someone's
that
turn to
if we are
speak,
operating an incredibly small
dude,
amount of the Earth's surface, does that mean that we should
It's okay. We should all
expect
just mute
any
him.
deviation within the footprint of a house?
Okay, do
Yes
you
or
agree that
no?
we've built houses on every square inch
And
of
you
the
can't
earth?
answer the question. This was fun.
Reds, you have to stop interrupting people.
So do you agree, Red? So when we
So
build a
ironic
house,
that
we
you
could
guys
treat the
giving
plum.
him
We
this
could treat.
critique. It's good,
Excuse
bro.
me, sir. Why are you talking now? It's not your turn.
My
So
bad. My bad.
in order to like when we build houses on the earth, which we've built all over the earth, right, everywhere, and everyone does the same thing. They all treat plums as parallel, right? So when we do that all over the place, we have a good pragmatic justification to believe that plums are parallel. So therefore, you both have a justified true belief. So now what do? If you use pragmatism as your justification, and now you have two opposing ideas that both have justified true beliefs, which in philosophy you might call that knowledge. Some people do. What are you going to do now? How do you get out of that?
So, are you ready to answer my question?
I did actually. I
No, you
specifically
didn't. No, you
answered
ran
it
away
because
from it
do
like
you
a little bit.
disagree that we can take a measurement in one place and a measurement in another place and extrapolate that out to the whole?
So, are you ready to answer my question?
Yeah, I just did.
No, you can't. You haven't done that yet. If you want me to repeat it, since you clearly forgot, I'm more than happy to repeat it.
Oh yeah, you said because we're building on such a small scale, so that's why I made it known to you that we build on that small scale all over the earth, right? So everyone on the earth does that. So if a guy set up a house and then built another house next to it and another house next to it and another house next to it, he could treat all those plums as parallel, and he could do that for 24,000 miles if he'd like.
So, are you ready to answer my question?
I just did.
No, you didn't. Would you like me
Yes,
to
I
repeat
did.
it?
You could try and gaslight me and say that I didn't answer your question, but I clearly
You're just
just answered
gaslighting
your
yourself at
question.
this point,
You
and it's
have an
Can we
fucking
get a
hilarious.
patrol escape?
you have an extremely impossible burden to fulfill at this point because you are fighting to justify true beliefs because you use pragmatism as your justification, sir.
Right. So all I heard
Cool.
was,
Are you ready to
what are you
actually
going to
answer
do
my
with a
question and not
justified
run
true
away
belief
from
who's
it,
wild
thus
on you?
indicating a weakness in your own confidence of your own position?
I did answer your question, sir.
No, you didn't.
So
Would you like me
if
to
you'd
repeat
like me
it?
to answer it again, you could go ahead and repeat it and I'll answer it
Okay, good.
again.
Let's try this one more time. I'm going to ask you politely, kindly, to listen very closely. Okay, so if we are operating on the surface of a planet that's fucking massive, and we're operating on a really small scale within the footprint of a single house, single family home, really, really tiny in comparison, would we realistically, to any usable measure, expect to see any deviation between one side of the property line and the other side of the property line?
No, not at all. And we could do that
Not
all
at
over
all.
the
Okay,
earth.
perfect.
And we could do that all over the earth. And then we could, all of those
Perfect.
construction
Well,
workers can have a
I'm gonna ignore this
justified true.
part. We will come back.
Dude,
It's gonna be
stop
later.
Reds.
Why is this
If
allowed?
I
Who
have
is
to
this guy?
mute you every time you ask someone a question, and as they reply, you start chiming through them, I will do that, but only because I want there to be less audio chaos. If you ask him a question,
Are you
let
gonna go
him
both ways on
answer the
that?
question
Are
without
you
you
gonna go both
chiming
ways
through
on
him.
that?
So yeah,
Are
Reds,
you gonna go
you're
both
not
ways on that?
tracking the argument here, obviously, because what I'm getting at here is justified true belief and pragmatism being the justification. So all of those construction workers have a justified true belief that plums are parallel. Do you agree?
All right, so are you ready to answer the second question? Because you answered yes. Now we'll move on to the second one.
Yeah,
You
right
don't
after you
control
answer my
where this
question.
is going. I make my own arguments. You don't make it for me. That's
You
how this
haven't
works.
made an argument yet, dude.
Well, because you haven't allowed me to get to it. You keep interrupting.
You wouldn't
I
know what an
understand
argument was if it
where this
came
is
up
going to
and
go.
slapped
I'm
you
going
in
to
the
ask you to
face,
be
dude.
brave. I'm going to ask you to be brave and let
So
this go to
justify
where it's
true
got to go.
interruption.
You
So
keep literally repeating the same nonsense ad infinitum. You've been given.
Going on both sides. Let Gally
okay,
mod. He's doing a good job.
I'm going to continue now. So, given what you just said, you said, okay, I can acknowledge we're operating on an extremely small scale, and I can acknowledge that to any usable measure, we should not expect within that
Brad, you wouldn't
incredibly
know if an
small.
argument slapped you in the face or not, bro. You wouldn't even know.
Interruption. Mod call.
Wouldn't know it. You wouldn't know if an
Call on
argument
interruption,
slapped you
please.
in the
All right,
face, dude.
stop talking for a second.
Intruder on aisle 12.
Reds, if you want to ask him a
5-yard
question,
penalty.
he already
That way.
stop for a second. Reds, if you want to ask him your follow-up question, he already said, I'll answer that after you answer my question. So to just continue asking the question, he already said, I will answer your next question after you answer mine. Because he answered your first question.
You don't seem to understand how this works. I'm making an argument, which means I have to go through my argument.
You wouldn't know
If
what
I
an
need to stop
argument was if
halfway
it
through,
slapped you in
that's
the
how a
face,
hookup
dude.
happens.
Fallacy.
So no, I'm not going to stop halfway
Okay,
through.
so he doesn't, Reds, he doesn't have to follow your Socratic method as you laid out. He answered your first question, and
If
then he
I'm making
said,
the argument, he
hang on
does.
1 second.
That's how this works. If he doesn't want to play that game, then he can just stop. But that's how we're going to play this.
That's what
I'm
I'm not
sorry,
giving him
sir.
a choice.
Socratic method or not,
It's
let's get not
discussion,
get
it's
political
not a
here.
debate. There's people who just want to discuss things. If it was an argument, you could just lay out premise, conclusion. Anyway, he said he would answer your next question after you answered his question, because he answered your first question. If you wanted to like go back and forth like a regular discussion, you could do that. But to demand he answer your next question, or else you're going to keep interrupting him, or else he's going to keep interrupting you too, this isn't going anywhere. This isn't good faith.
No, I already know for a fact that this isn't good faith, but I'm forcing him to stay on a good faith subject or a good faith.
No. You aren't acting in good faith. Period.
Here's
That's just
what
a
I'm going to
fact.
do. Here's what I'm going to
I'll
do.
give you the
I
question
am
one
going
more
to,
time, Reds. We'll see if you can
I'm going to
track. Okay. Do the
I'm
construction
going to
workers
give
have
him.
a justified true
I'm
belief
going to
based
give
on
him a chance.
pragmatism being the
If he
justification
can't
or
go on with
not?
it, then we're not going to get anywhere.
Nobody can hear you. My mic powers through yours.
Well, what he had
I don't
said
care.
already was he'll answer your second question if you answer his
No, I'm
question.
not asking him to answer
And
the
then
question anymore. I'm
please
going to
stop
assume the answers
interrupting people.
because he can't
That's
answer
bad
them
faith.
himself.
That's bad
Interrupting
faith.
people.
You refuse to
Oh,
answer a question. That's
let's
bad
go through
faith.
the entire thing from start to finish, unbroken.
Please stop
and then we'll
interrupting
go
people.
from
Let
there.
me finish what I was saying. What he said was he will answer your second question because he answered your first question.
I
He will
heard you the
answer your
first
second
time.
question if you answer his first question.
Yeah, and I said at the very beginning that I'm not going to play that game. If I'm making
Okay,
my
well then you're
argument,
here
I'm
in
not going to
bad
stop
faith,
halfway
sir.
through. I'm
Okay,
not going
then
to stop
what's going
halfway
on?
through.
What's
We're
going to
not playing that
happen
game.
then
Red said he is
is
a
that
dungeon
there's
master.
not going
This
to be
is
any
his
type
name.
of conclusion to be reached because
Oh no,
neither
there's going
one
to
of
be a
you would budge
conclusion.
on that.
No, there's going to be a conclusion. I will brute force our happy asses there if I have to. If this is the game we're going to
Like
play,
as if you
then we'll
could,
play this
dude. As
game.
if you could.
So
Think
if
you have
we're
might? You
looking,
think you have might, bro?
yes,
You've got
actually.
no might. You're nothing. You're not the almighty. Sorry, sir.
Biggest and the best by
Let's
Crawfinger.
bring
That's
it in
my
bounds
thing song.
there, maybe.
Yeah, you're
Anyway.
garbage. You wouldn't know what an argument was if it slapped you in the face. So now, do you agree that a construction worker has a justified true belief because he used pragmatism as his justification?
So let's go back to the very beginning. When we started this conversation, it was about plumb
You're
bobs
done. You're done.
and whether or not they were parallel within the property lines of a single family home. That's where we started. That's where you were going with this. Now, I asked you a very simple question, then you went on some side tangent when it was really just a yes or no, and that's all I needed. And that was, would we expect to see any deviation from one side of the property line to the other property line for any usable measure? If we're talking about a massive planet such as the Earth and a space small enough to be a single family home, you said no. We would not see any difference whatsoever.
Yeah, that
So,
doesn't help you, dude.
within the context of a single family home, there is no difference.
Okay,
So
yeah, and
bringing
we
that
build
up
those
on a
all over the
conversation,
place. We
hang on,
build those
bringing
all
that
over
up
the
within a
place.
conversation about flat Earth versus globe is fucking stupid. So what you would actually want to ask is, are there any structures that exist that do take the curvature of the Earth into account?
You're
And I
not
you know
tracking
the
the
answer to that
argument,
question.
sir.
So
You're
the
not
Tori, you gotta
question
tracking
let
would
him
the
be,
finish
argument.
without
so
interrupting.
that means
Tori, you
that
gotta let
are
him
there
finish.
any structures that do take the curvature of the Earth into account? And yes, there is. And I'm willing to take you that. I'll pay for the ticket. It's called LIGO. You don't have to believe what they're doing is actually legit, but the structure objectively exists. And on one side, you will see that it is quote unquote level. But on the other side of these 2 kilometer arms, or however the fuck long they are, they actually do take the curvature of the Earth into account. So for
Okay,
your
cool.
bullshit to be
Thank you,
hang
sir. So,
on,
do they have a
in
justified true
order for
belief that
your
the Earth
in
is a
order for
globe?
your
Tori, I'm
Then,
just
thing to be
gonna Tori, you gotta mute for
do they
just let him
do
finish
they
his
have a
point.
justified?
Dude,
Do
just
they
hang
have
on
a
one
just?
second, dude. Hang on one Tora. Just let him finish his point and then you can go on and finish your point. I'm
Thank
gonna
you.
mute you now,
I
then you can
appreciate you stepping
then
in like
one
that.
second. I'm just
So, as I
moderating
was
him.
saying before I was rudely
I'm
interrupted,
just
is
dude,
that
I'm moderating really quick. Just hang on. Tori, you
if
gotta
we
let him finish his point before you chime in. Alright, I'm gonna unmute you now. Go ahead, Reds.
thank you. So, if we were to look at bigger structures, structures that are large enough to take the curvature of the Earth into account, we ask the question, do these structures take the curvature of the Earth into account, since that's more relevant to the conversation? And the answer is yes, they do. And so
Okay, awesome.
LIGO is
Thank you,
one.
sir.
Yep,
Oh, that's
there,
not it.
there you go. See, interruption again. So,
If you have
as
a
I was saying,
question that you want to ask him, I mean, you've been kind of
no,
going for a little while.
I'm making a point because he can't answer questions. We already went down that path and he failed miserably. So now I'm
You're not
making a point.
following the argument, Reds.
So
I'm sorry. You're not following
if
my
we look
argument. You're
at
going
Jesus Christ,
into.
He was asking a
You're
question,
just
but it was
talking the whole
rhetorical,
time,
Tora.
bro. You're just
I know,
talking.
but
there he goes again. He doesn't
You're,
want to actually see where the information leads. He wants to
I mean,
try.
if like look, if you want to do like a podcast kind of thing, you can do that on like a YouTube channel or whatever. But this is a discussion. It's a live stream where people share and talk to each other. It's not just
Yeah,
you
and
talking
here's the
at
thing:
somebody and then
if
saying
people
that,
would have just shut
dude,
the fuck up for now, I would have already been
dude,
done by
please
now.
stop interrupting me too. Like, I don't know why you have this self-importance that you can just chime through people. I just had to server mute Taurus so you could finish your point and possibly ask a question, and you instantly go, "Oh, I don't have a question. I'm just talking at him." So why can't we just have a discussion like a
It's called
regular
making
any
a
type of live
point.
stream?
No, it's called making a point. If I'm not allowed to make the point, tell me now and I'll stop. Hey, Reds, you know what? You're not allowed to make a point. You're not allowed to actually get to the conclusion of what you were trying to say. I'm not allowing you to do
Make
that.
it for the fourth time, dude. Go ahead.
It'll be my fourth time attempting. If you
Oh,
shut up,
you
maybe we'll
made it,
get
dude. I
there.
could steel man your point right now if you'd like me to.
I don't want you to steal man my point.
Yeah,
You
because
would
you're
suck
scared.
at it. So I'll
I could
steel
make
man my
your
own
argument
point. I can do this by
stronger. I'll
myself.
steel man it and make the argument stronger.
I don't believe you for a second. So anyway, as I was saying, if we were to look at buildings that do take the curvature of the Earth into account, that would be the buildings we would need to point to. So you're saying what would be the difference between that and individual ones? Because those are individual examples. They're not measured between each other. If you measure them between each other and you did that long enough, you might start to see some deviation given the curvature of the Earth, but they're not doing that in reality. They don't do
Okay,
that.
awesome. Awesome.
For
Thank you.
structures where they're a solid piece, they do take that into account.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much, sir. So you claim they don't do that in reality, so they do that in non-reality? Is that correct?
What the fuck is non-reality?
Yeah, the one that you're talking about, the one with LIGO, you're saying LIGO specifically took into account, but that's not even the point of the conversation. My point is, does the construction worker have a justified true belief that plumbs are parallel considering that it works? Because you accept pragmatism as a justification.
Depending on the property size.
Okay, awesome. So now if we do that all over the earth, and I'll give you an example. Eratosthenes took 2 measurements and concluded from those 2 places that the earth is a globe, okay? So these construction workers, obviously by the same standard of evidence, can take 2 houses on the earth, treat plums as parallel, and then declare all plums are parallel. And they have the same exact justification that you have as well. So if it is the case that you could use pragmatism as a justification and you can claim you have a justified true belief in both contradictory views, where do you go from here?
Where we go from here is actually very obvious. We seek other things because when you limit yourself to just one piece of evidence, you limit yourself entirely. There's a thing called a cumulative case. Do you know what that is?
Yeah,
So wait,
I
we're
guess so.
landing
At
on the
that
moon?
point, I would love for you then to show us the non-reality that you talked about when you said a house in New York and a house in California. Those plums wouldn't be parallel. So yeah, if you could just demonstrate that someone building a house in New York and a house in California are using 2 different verticals and 2 different horizontals, that would be great. But you're going to have to go to non-reality to do that because you admitted in reality we just treat plums as parallel.
Well, that's just evidence of you having this conversation not in good faith, since you automatically concluded that I'm going to be dipping into non-reality or some shit. When in reality, we can do that very easily thanks to the pole star conundrum, for example, or the fact that we can go to buildings like LIGO that do take the curvature of the Earth into account. And what happens if we take all these extra pieces of information into account and not just limit ourselves to one piece of information that I guess would be good for a Twitter post, but not enough to make, I don't know,
Well, that's what
an entire body of knowledge on?
Well,
LIGO is though.
reality
Reality is
is
like
local to
one-on-one
you, and everything you just described is non-local to you. So
reality
that's why I
more than you
declared it as
provide.
non-reality. Because if you were working within your local reality, you would use a tool to compare reality against reality, and that
Yeah,
tool is
and it's
called
called
the
a
water
telescope.
level. And what we
A
know about the water level is that it sets up a horizontal plane locally in our reality. And
Tampa
then
Bay
that
Ghost is
water
also
is
in our
not
reality.
curving at 8 inches per mile squared. And if it is the case that that water is curving at 8 inches per mile squared, then you don't have a concept of horizontal in your worldview.
I knew it. I told you he was going to try to define flat Earth into existence. So let's go ahead and say we don't have a valid definition of horizontal given the limits of human language.
Then
Does
you
that
don't
mean
have the
that the
law
Earth
of
is fucking
identity,
flat?
you don't have the law of non-contradiction, you don't have the law of excluded middle as we derive
Let's
those
say
off
all of
of
that.
base axioms
Let's
of
say all of that is
geometry.
true. Let's say human understanding of philosophy, definitions, the limits of human language are all as they are in, whatever. It's all just so not good enough for what we're trying to explain or extrapolate. Does that mean that the Earth is flat in your definition, in your
No, it
view?
means that if you use pragmatism
Okay,
as a
so if the answer is
justification, you
no,
could enter into a fallacy
well,
of
if the answer is no,
composition.
why the
So
fuck
that's
are you
what I'm
even
getting
talking about
at
this?
for you because you're using pragmatism as your justification, and I'm pointing out the
I'm
flaw
using
in
evidence as my
pragmatism as a
justification.
justification. Here's another one. When you want to do trigonometry, right, on the earth, you could tell the size of like a tree or something if you have a distance to that tree and whatnot. That's all based off of trigonometry with 90-degree right triangles, perfect 90-degree right triangles as well. That's all based off of horizontal. That's all based off of Euclid's principles of elements. So that how we decided all that is based on horizontal is a real thing. Now, if you want to claim it's not a real thing and we don't define it the way that we should actually define horizontal as 8 inches per mile squared. I'm going to need an argument for that because at 8 inches per mile squared on a horizontal baseline, you no longer can get an accurate reading of trigonometry. Do you think that we have accurate readings of mountain elevations?
So, as I was saying before, I was rudely interrupted again because that was a glorious non sequitur. Is that you're saying that, oh, well, if you can't define it in a particular way, therefore Earth is flat, or therefore you can't say it's a globe. No, we actually can, because here's the thing: you cannot define flat Earth into existence, and you will never be able to do that. And when you talk about pragmatism, for the structures where it is where they're long enough, where you do have to take the curvature of the Earth into account, it then becomes pragmatic to take the curvature of the Earth into account. Otherwise, you're going to fuck up your structure. So if I am going to rely on pragmatism And we know that we have the tools and capability necessary to take the curvature of the Earth into account. And I'm pretty sure the word level was used more than once on that particular construction site. Where am I supposed to go with this? What am I supposed to accept from that? Am I supposed to accept that the Earth is flat just because you have a limited definition?
What tool did you use to make LIGO horizontal? Because according to you guys, we don't have a tool that can determine if plumbs are parallel on the short scale. And then you're saying on LIGO, we built that thing all in one huge section at that point. So what tool did we use in order to make that level?
Maybe you should ask the people that built it that took it into account. Are you denying that they took it into account?
Yes, I am.
Okay,
No,
then
they
you're
use
just wrong then.
precision. They use precision.
Oh, why?
GPS.
Because you
We've
read a
linked it.
paper on it?
No,
Because you read a paper
No,
on it,
because you can
sir?
actually
So
go.
you have
they
no
describe
idea.
go
it.
there.
Excuse me. You have absolutely no idea if they did actually take it into account except for a paper. What kind of pragmatic justification is that? Now you're
No,
doing
I
an
said.
appeal to
No,
authority. Is
I
that
said we
also
can
a
take it.
That's
No,
justification?
we said
The
we can take it
authority
into
of
account.
people
You
is
can
now a new
literally go there and
justification we
see it
can
for
use?
yourself. I said you can verify because you can go there and you can see it for yourself. You can see the other side of it is actually fucking raised. And I said I would be willing to pay for your plane ticket to go there. So how about this? Let's do this.
How many
I will
miles
bet
long
you.
is it?
Hang on. Well, I will bet
You
you.
could see
I
it
will
with
bet.
your eyes. That's how
I
you
will
do
bet
things
you.
now. Your
Hang on. I will
justification
bet
is you
you.
see it with your
I will
eyes.
bet you. I will bet you $10,000. I will pay for your ticket. We'll
You're
go there.
done, dude. You're done.
We'll sign off on it.
You're resorting to
And if
bets.
we go to the other side of the LIGO arms and we see that it is actually raised to account for the curvature of the Earth, I win the bet and you have to pay me. Does that
Yeah,
sound
the
fair?
problem is that's fine.
Do you
Okay,
have confidence in
you'll
your
win the
position
bet.
to
But the
accept this
problem
bet?
is
Do
you're
you have
using a
confidence in
faulty
your position to
justification.
accept this bet? Do you have
Yes, I
confidence in
did.
your position
Yeah,
to?
yeah,
Okay, then let's sign
yes.
off on it.
I
Okay,
have
one of you
Let's stop the
has to
conversation right
yield
here.
while you're having a conversation. If you're both constantly interrupting and chiming through people, it's absolute audio chaos for the live stream. If someone's in the middle of speaking,
He's not following my argument. My argument is about
guys, stop.
pragmatism
Both
not
of you,
being a good.
stop. If someone's in the middle of speaking, you have to yield the mic so that way we can actually hear what they're saying.
Agreed.
Yeah, and I was wondering, Gary, can we go over the fallaciousness that is happening right now? What is defining flat Earth into existence? That's a straw man, I believe.
It's a huge straw man. Yeah, nobody's defining flat Earth into existence here. I'm just demonstrating here how pragmatism doesn't lead to a justified true belief, because if it does, you can have two contradictory ideas, both justified true beliefs at the same time.
With the limitations you are putting in place, that may be so, but let's go ahead and go back to this. I say
Therefore, if it may be so, therefore,
there's
it's
the
not a
interruption again.
justification.
There's the interruption again. So if we take this conversation elsewhere, let's go ahead and sign up that contract. Let's sign up that contract right now. I'll put $10,000 in escrow. I hope you have
There's
that
nobody
available.
betting anything, Reds.
Yeah,
Nobody's betting.
you lost
It's
the
just a
argument. This
discussion.
is why you have to go to this, because you've lost the argument. You realize, yeah, that is the case. Pragmatism cannot be an ultimate justification, because if people aren't taking into account the non-local reality, the one that doesn't exist in their reality, the non-reality, non-local stuff, then they'll be wrong about something. However, everything we do, any measurement you take it within your local reality. Nobody takes measurements outside of local reality, sir. Sorry.
So he doesn't want to take the bet. What does that indicate, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, brothers and sisters?
That I don't have $10,000.
That indicates
I
your
don't have
argument is completely.
$10,000.
Okay, how about this?
Your
How about
argument is
1,000?
completely irrelevant.
I don't have $1,000 either. No.
What about 500?
I don't have all the money that I have.
Let's use the same logic, Reds. Let's all put together some funds and send you to the moon so you can prove your worldview to everyone, preferably without a spacesuit, just to see how far the atmosphere goes. Like, this is the level of logic that you're bringing to the table, and it's just ignorant. Try to defend your
I don't
argument.
think that I asked them to walk into a vacuum without a spacesuit, you dishonest fuck. I told them to take a trip to a building.
I'm just betting to you that you can prove your worldview by sending you to the moon.
Yeah, and I
That
can do
is
that
the
with
level
space
of logic
too.
that
But
you're using in this discussion in order for
yeah,
you to
you're making a bet
verify
that
that
would
your argument
absolutely
is
kill
true.
me, and I'm basically making a bet that would kill his argument. There's a difference. If you're
No.
going to be dishonest about this, can you at least be less obvious about it?
What is your argument? That the LIGO is taking into the account the curvature of Earth.
My argument is that they do these measurements, okay? He's asking me about construction projects. I don't do construction. He's asking me about these things. Well, I happen to know of a building that exists, that objectively fucking exists, that has taken the curvature of the Earth into account. He was trying to get around that by bringing up single family homes. I countered that by bringing up a structure that does take the curvature of the Earth into account. He made the claim that, oh, you can't possibly make accurate and reliable measurements because your definitions are limited. I said, well, apparently we fucking can because we did. And I'm willing to pay for his ticket to go to this building so he can see it for themselves. And maybe he can ask the people there who are expert in that building that actually work in it every single day, how they were able to do what they did. And if I am right, and they did take the curvature of the Earth into account, I would win a sum of money. Whether that's 10,000, 1,500, we'll figure out the amount later. If he's right, then he gets my money. And unlike in your fucking example, nobody dies at the end of it.
What building?
The LIGO building.
Livingston.
Yeah, I live about 10 miles from it. And I don't think the people inside the building are going to know, but the surveyors would. But wouldn't that be a low-level observation, which has been discounted by current globers, saying you have to climb a mountain to make accurate horizontals?
No, do you not remember having this conversation like a week ago, Rakia? We pulled up the paper where they wrote down exactly how they did it using GPS.
Right.
The tolerances that they used. They had a graph of all the readings they did. You don't remember that conversation?
Yeah, I remember. I said yes already. That's twice I've answered your question. So you're saying we can take GPS, establish a horizontal over static water, and measure down from those benchmarks and get curved water? I'll take that bet.
If you can drag the wheels of the GPS over water, then it probably would work. Yeah.
GPS has wheels. I don't think you know what you're talking about.
Yeah, they wheel it out on a little device. I can get you a picture.
Wheel out the GPS surveying unit on a little device.
Yep.
Okay.
So anyway, if the end result is that we have a building here that has no spacer on one side but spacers on the other side to account for the curvature, what would that indicate? That they took it into account, right?
Or they're replacing refraction with earth curve like they do in total stations. It's one switch where you can switch it on and off, which takes out the earth curve and the refraction calculations that the computer does.
The ground operates through refraction?
Well, that's what the switch does. I don't know what you're talking about because no one's
I
really
don't know what
ever.
you're talking about. What switch are
I'm
you
trying
referring
to explain as you interrupted again. That was my flat Earth prediction. That Glovers would mock, ad hom, and interrupt. So far, my flat Earth predictions are coming true. So it must be a flat Earth. But anyway, when you look into total stations, I'll finish now. When you look into total stations, the switch, the Earth curve calculation switch, is linked into the same switch that refraction is, which I don't understand how that's possible because refraction makes things appear higher. An Earth curve is a downward drop from horizontal. So I'm not even sure how that would be calculated into the same switch, but maybe I'm wrong.
My prediction is that before the conversation's done, you will have interrupted many times. That's my globe Earth prediction.
I'll take that bet, not on purpose. I'll take the bet also that I'll go on mute every time I'm finished and that I will be the one that's interrupted. You want it? So far, you're way behind.
I guarantee you're going to
That
interrupt.
all you guys have now
you
is
do every
bet. You
time.
guys just make
Tor we
bets
know.
or
Tor we
whatever.
know is going to
Did you
interrupt.
guys
You
just
can't
lose
resist it.
all hope in actually making arguments? So now you think you can make bets because luck is actually more valuable than knowledge in your worldview because that's what evolution worked its whole way through.
Are you talking to Rakia right now? Because Rakia is the one that just challenged me to a bet. If you were listening 5 seconds ago.
You bet first, dude. You bet first. You said
No, I
my
didn't.
prediction, my globe Earth prediction is that
prediction is not a
Rakia is
bet.
going. Okay, you said, dude, why are you interrupting me? So is your prediction wrong because you're a globe Earther and you're interrupting me?
That wasn't my
Who
prediction.
were you asking the question to? Who were you asking the question to?
wheels on the GPS, he's saying it can't be done. Are you saying that water can't be measured by a GPS to curve? Because of the tools have wheels on them and I can't roll the wheels across water? Anybody
Yeah,
want to
I
address
mean,
that?
water poses a much steeper technical challenge.
You think you have to roll something across the top of the water to measure the top of the water? Are you that, is that your like argument?
I just use
Yeah,
my Tampa
I don't
Bay
know.
blink test.
You could. I'm not water expert. You could explain how you're gonna like dangle the device out of the boat and
Dangle the device out of a boat. You know, there's land near water, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, you can
Yep.
put the instrument on the land that, oh, by the way, doesn't move, which makes it a real accurate place to put these instruments and measure the top of the water, right?
Yeah, I mean that would be on the land, not on the water.
So I never said the instrument would be on the water. I said we're measuring the top of the water. You're the one that brought up boats and wheels on the bottom of the instrument of a GPS that would have to roll across the water. I never
You've
said
never
any
seen
of
a
those
device.
things.
Okay.
I've never seen any wheel GPS roll across the top of the water. No. I would put my unit on the land or something stationary like a pier or the border land to make a horizontal long enough to measure down to the water. And I don't think that's ever been done, because if it has been done, it would be posted in here every time. They bring up LIGO as a low level observation through an optic as an accurate way to measure Earth curve, and then turn around and tell us that you can't measure low level observations of any distance because that's the most toxic place to do so. So it's a contradiction.
You might be onto something. The nice thing is GPS to a large degree circumvents the low, like directly over the water observations. So maybe you're onto something. Let's get the device and walk it along the shoreline and see what happens. But at LIGO, that's what they use. They didn't use low level optics to do it. They used a differential GPS. I can't remember what it's called, but it's a GPS device. I'll post the paper again, and
I think you would be wrong in that also. They definitely used other surveying tools besides GPS at LIGO. So they did use optics also, but I do know that they use GPS. And if you're saying that GPS can establish a horizontal long enough to measure down from that horizontal and measure curved water, I'm all for it. But wouldn't you think in this topic, since it's so heavily debated and that's the main topic, whether the water curves or not, that it would be posted in here daily of someone, a glober, going out and making benchmarks above the water, starting at like 1 foot, and in the distance it's 1'6" and showing, hey, this measurement's 1 foot here, and 1 mile away it's 1'6" or whatever it would be. Wouldn't you think that would be posted daily to rub it in our face and say, look how stupid flat Earth is? Other than just saying this would probably work, and oh, by the way, look how stupid flat earthers are.
Well, we wouldn't go that far, but I would say there's two different pieces of evidence that already show that water is curving. One is what I did, which was the Tampa Bay blink test, and the other one is the Lake Pontchartrain Causeway. There's even something else coming in that particular direction with the Lake Pontchartrain Causeway later. Maybe you can help us out with that particular observation.
What about when the Lake Pontchartrain Causeway doesn't appear to curve down? It appears to be flat or appear to be curving up. What about them? Do you discount those?
No, I haven't seen that. If you have a image of such, please present it to me and I'll be more than happy to take a look at it. But the second part of that would be, do you know ring laser gyros, right? So the idea would be to start on one side of the bridge with the ring laser gyro zeroed out, and then drive to the other side of the bridge and see if it's still zeroed out. If it's still zeroed out, then that means it didn't go over any sort of curve along the way. How long is it? Like 30-something miles or something like that. But if we see that ring laser gyro actually went beyond zero, that it actually did tilt, then that means there was a curve along the way, along your trip. And if the Lake Pontchartrain Causeway is the same height over the water the entire way there, then that would also mean that the water was also curving.
Would a mechanical gyro do it?
I don't know if a mechanical gyro would do it. That's why I went straight to ring laser gyros. They're the most sensitive.
Oh, you're saying a ring laser is more sensitive, so you need the most sensitive to pick up 180 feet of drop from one side to the other? Not a
It's
very accurate
it's
gyro.
degrees,
You
my
need that.
guy. You have to travel 69.169 miles for 1 degree of shift on a gyro. If you're traveling half of that, then you would only be measuring to half a degree. And so, yeah, we would need a gyroscope that can have that accurate of a reading. I don't know if a physical gyro can do it. Probably if you made it large enough. And I'll be willing to look into it. But a ring laser gyro most certainly can. So if we were to put that on the vehicle, zero it out, drive across, then look at the reading, and we see that difference, what would that tell you if that were to be the case? If we actually did that, I flew you out there, we did it together, what would that tell you?
Out there, I drive over it almost every day.
Cool. So then you wouldn't need to deal with any hotels or shit like that, which is great. That's good for you. But if we were to do that, what would that tell you? What conclusion would you come to after seeing that?
It would either tell me that when you zeroed it out, the land of the bridge was on a certain slope, and when you zeroed it out or got to the other side, that part of the land or bridge, whatever you're on, is at a certain slope.
So what if we zeroed it out while we were already over the water?
I'd have to think about it. I mean, I don't know why you would zero it out. Maybe if you zeroed it out at the midpoint, meaning that if you go in both directions, you would go over 90 feet of drop.
The question is it level all the way through?
It's
Of
not
course,
level all the way through. There's humps, but that wouldn't matter because if you're going up one hump, you have to go down that hump on the other side, so it cancels out.
yeah. It's
Yeah,
about
no, but what I'm
16 feet
saying
above
is
the water.
you gotta make sure that the height of the mid is the same height as the word you gotta go out on the bridge on both sides.
Well,
Yeah,
it's
so
really
we start off from the middle of the bridge. So if we went to the middle of the bridge, zeroed out, drove in one direction, and then we zeroed it out at the center of the bridge, drove in the other direction, and we see a difference in both directions, that alone would be satisfactory.
Yeah,
Am
but
I
the
getting
question
it?
you not understand what I just said. You gotta how do you know that the middle of the bridge is the same height as the both sides?
well, you
Well,
can
we could
test
just
that as you're driving. Like as you're going over the flat sections, not the hump. There's 5 different humps. 3 that are taller than the other. I mean, 2 that are taller than the other 3, and the other 3 are the same height. They're just shorter. As you go up those, that gyro would because it remains rigid in space, would show a degree change. When you got to the apex, it would level out. When you went down, it would show the opposite degree change. When you got back down on the flat part, that you go like 4, 5, 6 miles at a time, it would remain at 0.
Yeah, it would average it out, and then what you would be left with is the average curve or lack thereof of the bridge. And then what you could do is that you can throw a weighted line down to the point where it touches the water, measure the distance from where the line touches the water to the top of the bridge, and then you do the exact same thing on the other side of the bridge just to make sure that it is actually the same height above the water. And then if it is the same height above the water, you started from the center, you zeroed it out, and then you see a difference in each direction, then that would indicate that there actually is curvature to that structure, and therefore there is curvature to the water below it.
You're saying
Can
on a
you walk? Can you
that
get
goes
off? Sorry, Ricky. Can you get off or walk?
no,
So I'm gonna ask.
no.
No,
There's
I
a
think
medium.
driving only.
There's an emergency medium, but as soon as you stop, there's their own police force on the bridge that come and investigate. Like you'd have to make it really quick, and or get a permit, which they don't give out very regularly because it's so dangerous to pull over. The medium's so small.
No,
But
we would have to
cruise
make
ship,
it like a one button operation so we can get in and out as quickly as humanly possible.
right? But you're saying a gyro on a cruise ship going thousands of miles over the ocean would show a degree change. Like you would zero it out, and when you got to your destination 1,000 miles away, it would show that many degrees change. I'll take
Yeah,
that
it
bet.
should. It should.
I
Yeah, I'll
mean,
take that bet.
Not
if
a
you have
gyro
a
compass,
gyro
a
that can
gyroscope.
if you have a gyro that can maintain its angular momentum, then sure. But the problem is getting a gyroscope that can do that without,
What are you talking
or
about?
a mechanical gyro, I should say, a physical gyro, not the ring laser one, A ring laser one, I think, would probably be better for that type of situation.
And you're saying over 1,000 miles, it would show whatever 1 degree per 69 miles that is? So that would show 15 degrees?
That would be around what you would expect to see, yes. And we can also demonstrate that also with the stars as well. But if we're just talking about the bridge and just water curving underneath that particular bridge, then what we would do is that we would start the car on one side of the bridge, drive to the other side. Or as you said, we could start from the middle and drive in each direction. We would only get half the reading if we did that way, but we can do all of them.
Yeah, do all the tests all at once. But the cruise would be better, I think, because it's a longer distance. You would be no doubt, trying to read a half a degree or whatever, and trying to read 15 degrees, even if it went 10 degrees. Like I was way off. It wasn't 15 degrees. It's 14.49 degrees, but I did that in my head. So assuming
remember too, you'd have to subtract the gyroscope is going to process for rotation also. And it'll process differently depending on which direction the boat's traveling. So you have to make sure you factor that into. But yeah, it should, like traveling over distance, it should process.
Oh, it should. So you're saying if you're going east, it's going to process at one rate, and west is going to process at another? That's awesome.
Yeah, it would.
Correct. And north south also will look differently.
Yeah, that's why it's imperative that you get your readings done as quickly as possible so that there's less noise in the data. So how long does it take to usually get across the Lake Pontchartrain Causeway? What's the speed? 50 miles an hour, 55, something like that?
Yeah, something like that. So half an hour, 20 minutes.
Yeah, 20 minutes. So I would rather do a test that only takes 20 minutes rather than a test that takes multiple days that can introduce noise into the data. The less noise you have, the more, I should say, the stronger the evidence is, in my opinion.
So you don't think the engine, like rattle, like vibration, the bridge moving, all the other traffic on the bridge would affect any type of gyroscopic reading?
The best that we would be able to do is isolate the system, either with anti-vibration mechanisms or or a suspension system on a bungee. Kind of like one of those boom mics. The microphones that have the little trampoline thing on it that's supposed to dampen out any sudden jolts on the desk that it's attached to. You can make something like that could fit into like the back of a minivan, for example. I'm sure something could be done with some sort of bungee system where it would dampen out any sort of vibrations or anything like that. Obviously, it's not going to be perfect, so you would have to do this run multiple times to see if you have reproducibility. And if you do it multiple times and you're getting the same reading multiple times, and then you do it again and again and again and again and again, you gather all this data, and it all points to the same answer, that would be very conclusive.
Yeah. I wonder why this hadn't been done before on either side.
Because everyone has pretty much accepted that it's unnecessary, but for this particular conversation in this particular community, it might actually be somewhat kind of maybe necessary. I don't think it's necessary in the grand scheme of things, but for the context of this Discord conversation, yeah, it could probably be done. And since all of us know someone somewhere, I mean, Bob Nodell was able.
Say it again.
What?
Yeah, we didn't hear you.
Bob, the ring laser Bob used. He said a community member got it. I'm just curious where it wound up. Like, where is it today? And
I have no idea.
I don't know. I don't know.
We pulled open the documentation for the Honeywell air data inertial reference unit that's used in commercial jets, and we talked. And there's a section there about calibration before flight. When the system initializes, it picks up the rotation of the Earth and correctly shows your latitude as part of the calibration, and validates it against the GPS latitude to verify that the gyros in calibration.
Wolfie's shown that live on his own plane.
Oh, well, that's interesting. I wonder if we could get a unit outside of a plane and then take it on that trip. I wonder if a physical gyro would even be sensitive enough to pick up something like that, but I imagine it would be heavy, like really, really heavy.
Anyone tried to rent an optical laser gyro? Surely they're rentable.
That's what Bob Nodell did, right? When
I
he
think
talked about
community member paid 20,000 for it, but who knows?
I think
You
someone
can
gave
rent
him use
them?
of one. I don't think you can rent them, to be honest.
I was about to say, because if you can rent them, that would solve literally every problem.
I'm gonna search it right now. I'm gonna search it up.
Because if we can rent one and I can just like build a box that is, isolated, put it in the back of a rental minivan or whatever, that would solve all the problems.
Hey, this was my idea about 2 years ago, bringing a ring laser and a mechanical gyro. Actually, my idea was a mechanical on an airplane. When you got up to altitude, right, when you leveled off, you would spin it up and zero it out. And then over the next hour, you're traveling 500 miles. It should process, right?
Yeah, but I would want to do it within a shorter period of time. But in theory, yes.
But I mean, you're dealing with, I mean, if you're talking about noise, you know what I'm saying, that you have a little bit of vibration, but these jets these days are pretty damn smooth. I don't know what other noise there would be in an airplane like that would interfere with the way a high-speed gyro would process, but you're talking about a huge amount of procession, right?
Yeah, my concern with noise is that the longer the test goes for, there's just more opportunity for noise to creep in. By limiting the window of opportunity for noise to get into the data, you make the data cleaner. It's just a window of opportunity thing. It's not necessarily, this one thing may cause it, whether that's the rumble of an engine or turbulence or whatever the case may be. By narrowing the window of opportunity, you just don't give it that. You just don't give it as much of an opportunity for it to pollute the data.
But you're just creating an error. So if you're saying that the error would perfectly match the margin of precession, that's just craziness. You might get, if you have 10 degrees of precession that should happen and you only get 8, you still have a huge precession rate over 1 hour.
Yeah, but I never said that it would be substantial. What I'm saying is that I don't want people later on to find any reason to reject the data.
Well, that's what I'm saying, though. If you go 500 or 1,000 miles and you get 10 or 15 degrees and you're only off by a degree or two, you're still getting 10 or 15 degrees of precession. That's a huge amount.